It does. Oh, yeah. Huh. Well, we'll have to live with it. Because I got more pants in the truck.
Fish.
Yeah, get out here get out on the edge a little bit and get a bite. Is that a big one, Tommy?
I don't think so.
Is that on that little sinking worm? Yep.
The other one was a lot bigger.
I think the bigger ones probably are going to be out here on the edge of this stuff, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Post-spawn.
I'm fishing today with a longtime friend, Tommy Renfro, and that's a good way to start right there. That's a good way to start. Tommy guides on several really hot dog lakes down here in East Texas and has a tackle store over at Eustis, right?
Yes, sir.
You thought I'd go say Maybank, didn't you?
I did.
I always say Maybank,
Yeah.
and then he says Eustis.
Yeah.
I was ahead of you. I was ahead of you. And we've been fishing together for a lot of years. One time I caught 2 bass consecutively, back to back, not consecutive casts, but with about 10 or 15 minutes apart. 2 bass that weighed over 10 pounds, 2. And they were about 15 minutes apart, but I did not catch a bass in between them. One of them was on a plastic worm, and one of them was on a spinnerbait. So that's a pretty cool thing to do right there.
It is.
Pretty cool thing to do. We wasn't getting any bites on a worm up shallow, and we moved out a little bit deeper in these pads. It's a pad field. We moved out a little bit deeper, and all of a sudden, Tommy got a couple bites real quick. And one of the reasons I moved out deeper, I got in there and started seeing some bluegill beds, lots of bluegill beds. I told Tommy, I said, well, if the bluegill are bedding, the bass are through bedding.
Yeah.
And so we need to move out on the edge, and we did. And just as soon as we got out here, Tommy gets a couple of fish. Oh, there's one, small one. You got one too, a double? I bet yours is bigger than mine. I'm not sure. He acts like he's a big one, but he's not. He's doing a lot of splishing and splashing. Actually, about the same.
Yeah. Get out of here.
That's really a pretty nice little fish. As I get him out, yours is too. They're about twins. That's pretty typical right there. I threw mine throwing up shallower water, and he threw his throwing out a little bit deeper water. I got one on a spinnerbait.
Get him.
A little bit bigger. Tommy, I think we can catch him.
Yeah.
Tommy had a giant right off the bat, and it come unbuttoned right by the boat. We don't know exactly how big it was, but it was much larger than this right here. That's a good fish right there. There's nothing wrong with that fish. Ooh, I like that. I like it.
That is a good one.
I'm probably ruined. I started out with that worm, didn't get a bite, and I picked my spinnerbait up and got a bite. That's a nice chunk right there. That's a nice chunk.
It's going to be hard for you to put that spinnerbait down.
It always is. It always is hard for me to put it down.
Is that Red Man spinnerbait?
Huh?
Is that Red Man
That's a Red Man, yeah. I think it's Lucky Strike's top selling lure now.
I need to carry them there in the store.
Yep. Yeah, because it's just different than anybody else's spinnerbait, Tommy. It's old-fashioned, retro spinnerbait.
Look at you wearing them out on that thing now.
Small one here. Oh, it's a big bluegill, looky there. Now we will probably, look at the size of that bluegill. We will probably catch some big bluegill because they're spawning. Odd.
Yeah.
They're spawning. Got a little dirt on him, but look at the size of that fish. That's a big old fish right there.
Ready.
And they're going to be biting about everything because they're protecting those nests.
Yeah.
They're bedding. Oh, this is a little one. This might be another bluegill. I don't know.
I got a little bitty one.
Got the pads. I think it's just a small bass. Huh, another bluegill. Look at that one. Look at that one. Look at the orange on that. That's burnt orange right there.
I got a bluegill color swim bait tied on. I bet you they'll eat it.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. That's why Chris always loved a worm or a jig or a spinnerbait because it had one hook on it.
It was too little anyway.
He always liked one hooks.
Jimmy, you catching one every cast.
They're working on the spinnerbait. We're talking about topwaters and all other kind of stuff, and we're smashing them on a...
Isn't that a typical fisherman, though?
Yeah, that is. Sure it is. Wonder if they'll bite. Wonder if they'll bite. How many times have we all said that? 1,000,000 times. I wonder if they'll bite. And you get to catch them good on something. You're always thinking about something else. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw over you.
So,
while you're fooling around, oh, I thought about heading over it. While you're fooling around with that fish there, I'll get my bait out of your way.
catching a bunch of them. We just got to find some of those bigger ones.
I believe we will.
But you're right. These fish are pretty healthy.
Yeah, that's the good fish. I think most of what we're catching is males.
Yeah, I think so.
We're not, I mean, there's nothing we've caught anything that's got their tails messed up or anything, so they look like males.
Yeah, that first one I had over there, it was definitely
Had all those bluegills on the bed.
Yeah,
Got him?
Yeah. That center out there, there's a bigger fish.
Oh, that's better. That's a better size fish. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What I'm talking about.
He's right out here where we said we
Yeah, we're in, out on this long point. But it's about 8 or 9 foot deep out here. It's not shallow water here. These pads, the pads is right on, we talked about being 8 or 9 on the edge of the pads. That's exactly what we've got right here. Exactly what we've got. And the biggest fish we caught of the day so far. She lunched it too, didn't she?
Yeah.
That's a good, beautiful fish right there. Very healthy.
Pretty fish.
Beautiful.
She ate that thing too.
Oh, there's another one. I saw that and come up and get that spinnerbait. Not quite that size, but a pretty nice little fish. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come here, baby. Oh, look at the belly. Now these are girls right here.
Yeah.
These are girls right here. And if these girls are here, there's really, really big girls here.
Yeah. I got it.
Flyers behind you. On that bass pro level.
Okay.
That's a good girl right there. Very, very healthy fish.
Cut the line because I
It's a
don't
girl.
want to hurt
She gets
that
a little
fish.
sugar.
That's pretty fish.
She's a girl. She gets a little sugar from Jimmy. She's out there bragging to all her buddies right now. You ain't gonna believe this sugar I just got. You ain't gonna believe that kiss. That was sweet, sweet, sweet. Man, I don't know who that guy is. He wasn't very good looking, but boy, does he have a powerful technique. Yeah, it's 13 foot deep right here, Tommy.
Yeah, we might catch a
You
giant.
could catch,
we could
yeah,
catch
that's right, a
here.
giant.
Yeah.
Not gone, Tommy, 2.5 years at least since I caught a 10-pound bass. I caught one down in Alabama the other day on a spinnerbait.
But we very well could do it here.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you. It's what I'm thinking about. Anytime I come to East Texas fishing, especially if I'm fishing with you, I'm thinking about giants. But I'm also thinking about a bunch of these beautiful, healthy boogers like that one right there. That's another little girl fish right there. That might be a male right there, just a good, fat, healthy male. Hard to tell. They are loaded in these pads.
Yeah.
It's summertime, you'll be able to come in these pads and throw some frogs and stuff over the top of them probably. Because it's deep water. It's 7 foot deep right here. Right on the edge of this pad, these pads falls off into 13. Exactly what I was talking about, that you got a lake that you got pads in that you look for, because pads like to grow in really shallow water, but they'll grow in really close to deep water. That's a male without a doubt. Beautiful. I mean, gorgeous fish. Look at that fish. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Big one?
Feels pretty nice. Tearing up a lot of lily pads, just a small one.
Yeah.
They get around those pads, it's hard to know for a minute.
Yeah.
My heart was pumping, I know that.
Yeah.
A lucky salt with an eighth ounce slip sinker, not a 1/4 ounce, but an 1/8 ounce slip sinker on it. A little tail bend hook, Texas rig. This is what made plastic worms famous, the Texas rig. We've come a long way in plastic worms. The original ones was on a jig head. The people thought that they grabbed a hold of the tail of that worm and worked their way up to the head. So we used to let them run and run and run. Half the fish we caught would swallow the hook. So, I let him run too far. And we didn't know they were biting the head of it all along.
Yeah.
We thought they was biting the tail and working their way up to where the hook was. So somebody down here in Texas come up with a bright idea, and a lot of them would drop it because they'd have it find it, finally drop it. And so somebody come up with the idea, what if we'd made that jig head drill a hole through it, where when a fish got a hold of the tail and started swimming off, that would slide away from it. And that was called a bullet weight and a Texas rig. And so when they swimming with holding that tail, which they wasn't doing, they had to wait. You got him? That is the history of Texas rig fishing. And Tommy's not doing that. He just got just a hook on there. Look at this little pocket.
Yeah, it looks like a little creek or slough or something coming in.
One big one might live back in here, and it's nice and calm.
Get him, Jimmy.
Got him. Texas rig worming. One of these in a minute's going to jump up and going to have a head bigger than mine. Not that one. But he thinks he's big. As big as he's ever been. I lost my worm. He ate that thing down pretty deep. Come here, puppy. Pretty deep. You never know when you rear back, set the hook on that little sinking worm. My worm is fractured. It's pretty much gone. You could actually save this little piece of this worm right here. You could actually save this little piece of it if you wanted to, and put it on a little jig head, like a little mushroom head jig head. You can buy at Bass Pro Shop, and you've got what a lot of people call a Ned rig, and that will catch fish. So that little piece that you normally just throw away, you could keep and use. Now I'm gonna just throw it away. I'm not throwing it in the lake, but I'm gonna throw it in the bottom of the boat and throw it away. But you could, that's all you need to catch them on a little mushroom head jig. Little one.
Little one?
Yeah, a little one.
Looks like a good spot right over
Plastico worm.
What color are you throwing? Watermelon?
I got a kind of a watermelon with black flake in it.
Yeah.
Just a pretty little chunk. Nice, healthy fish. Gorgeous fish. They got quite a bit to eat in here, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm thinking with just what I've seen so far. How big is that one?
That's a smaller one.
I'm thinking so far that we need to really be right on the outer edge where it drops off in this deeper water.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It seemed like that not only, it seemed like most of those fish are girls.
Yeah.
They're sort of the same size, but they're heavier because they got a little belly on them. And
Yeah. That's a pretty fish, isn't it?
I'm gonna throw my little sinking worm out there a little bit. Yeah, that's a pretty fish.
Pretty fish.
Pretty fish, yeah. Here's one. Tommy and I went back in that little pocket and we caught a couple of little fish, but they were little tiny things. But the better sized fish have already spawned, and they're out at the edge of whatever vegetation you have. We've got a lot of vegetation: coontail moss, lily pads, maybe a little milfoil, reeds and stuff. And but the bigger sized fish. Oh, Jimmy, I dumped my whole bag of stuff out here in the front of the boat. Picked up the bottom instead of the top. Makes a pretty good trash can, doesn't it? Dumps out pretty quick. Another crankbait. You got one too?
Yeah.
And you just missed one there too. Must be a lot of them right there in that little spot. Pretty nice fish. Pretty nice fish. Old deep smoothie. We're definitely getting into the time of the year when you want to be throwing a crankbait. When these fish move out and start suspended, moving on deeper cover, things that you can fish over the top of them and catch them. Make sure you have some good needle nose if you're going to fish a crankbait though, for sure. These are some right here that are spring-loaded needle nose. That means that when you open them up, they stay open. They got a little spring in them. My buddy Wally Marshall gave me those. He said, those are Mr. Crappie needle nose. And I said, well, now they're going to be Mr. Bass needle nose. I didn't crank that thing but probably about 6 times and that hit it. The spawn, when bass are up on the bed spawning, is one of the greatest times in the world to fish. Everybody waits for the spawn every time of the year. Just like in deer season, waiting for the rut to come around, everybody's excited about the spawn. But just like in deer season, the spawn comes and goes pretty quickly. One of the most asked questions I get when I'm doing personal appearances is, well, how do I catch them after they get through spawning, Jimmy? What do I do after the female lays the eggs? Where does she go? How do I catch them? Well, there's a couple things that you can do to really understand how that process works. One is when a female bass lays her eggs, she doesn't hang around. She doesn't hang around. She leaves, the male bass takes care of the fry. She leaves. Mama just ups and leaves. Little babies never know their mama. And the other thing that you think about is when they move out, they will move out to areas and suspend up relatively close to the top of the water. They may be on the top of grass, they may be out on the point, maybe underneath boat docks, willow trees, someplace where they can suspend close to the top of the water. One key thing to remember is long cast, long cast. Now, the other thing that will really, really key you in on catching maybe your PV, maybe the biggest bass you've ever caught in your life, is the fact that you think about another spawn, bluegill spawn, brim, and shad spawn. Both of those are really, really critical. Shad spawn usually really early in the morning, around grass, around boat docks, good to look for. But bluegill spawn, bluegill, perch, brim, whatever you want to call them, spawning, that you can catch them around those all day long. Find the bluegill beds, they load it, they'll come out and hit your spinnerbait, bump your spinnerbait. When you get in an area like that, spend a lot of time in there because there will always be some big bass around. A little small crankbait, a little small brim colored crankbait, a yellow and black, or black, blue, and chartreuse, or black and blue and chartreuse spinnerbait, all work good. Something looks like a brim. Whack them. Your personal best is waiting around those brim beds. Remember, guys and girls, I sure do love you.